To charm something is to affect by or as if by magic, or to compel, to please, soothe, or delight by compelling attraction, to endow with or as if with supernatural powers by means of charms, to protect by or as if by spells, charms, or supernatural influences, to control by charms such as a snake charmer. First and foremost, it's important to understand that from a magical perspective, there is nothing inert in the world. There is no dead matter. There is only that which is alive. A rock is alive. A piece of wood is alive. A piece of metal is alive. Soil is alive. Everything is alive. There's no inanimate matter. Scientists will tend to agree with us in that if you look deeply enough, there is nothing but activity except for where there's empty space. There's either empty space or waves. To charm something is to first and foremost recognize that it is alive and charmable. Because if it wasn't alive, there would be nothing to charm. It would just sit there. So the first thing we have to do is orient our consciousness to the understanding that all is alive. Everything is alive. Many people, when they talk about charming something, they talk about having power over that thing, or programming that thing, or imbuing that thing with their will. And there is some truth to that, but it's much more effective to come into resonance with the energy. You are resonating in harmony, in sympathy with the energy of that object. And therefore, when you place your charm upon that object, it's received by that object. It agrees with you. It's in harmony with you. And the way that we do that is not so much by imposing our will upon it, but by understanding the concept of omnipresence. There is a divine substance that is omnipresent, and there is no place where this substance doesn't exist. And since this is true, this substance is ready and available to become whatever it needs to become. And from the point of view of pure magical theory, you are able to impress upon this substance a thought, and then that thought is expressed by the substance. But if we don't recognize that the substance is there, it's not as effective of an operation when it's just our will and an inanimate object. But if we can tune our minds into the idea that there is an eternal, omnipresent substance, energy, spirit, at all moments of time and points of space, awaiting our impression, then it's very simple for us to get into sympathy and harmony with whatever it is that we're trying to charm and bring our will about. The same is true whether you're trying to charm a crystal as a protective amulet, as it is when you are trying to charm your financial experience, or charm your body, or charm your car. Perhaps you're trying to create something that doesn't exist yet, and so that's a charm as well. You're charming a thought form to bring about a certain effect. But there's very little power to be had until you can get to the understanding that there is an omnipresence, and that it's through that omnipresence that you can impress your will. The fastest way to get your will impressed upon that substance is through the attitude of gratitude that what you desire is already there in substance. And it's just a matter of time before it expresses itself in the three-dimensional world. But if you can get to the point of gratitude that your will has been done, then you have saved yourself a lot of time and trouble. We've talked about this before. If you're deciding that for your charm, what you want is a new vehicle, it's good to be able to have an object of your magic in your mind. What kind of vehicle you want, maybe what color you want, what it looks like, just so that you can have something to anchor your impression upon. It's a lot easier for you to have the success that you desire if you have a concrete idea of what you want, you can see your results coming fairly rapidly through the concept of gratitude and the concept of release. Yes, you may have visualized that you had a silver Mercedes SUV. And when it came back to you in physical form as something else, you might reject it. But if you say this or something even better, then you've released the form that you wanted. You've released that, and you're already grateful. I'm so grateful that my perfect vehicle is here. I'm so happy that this is here in substance. I already know it's here. I know it's here in substance. And that gratitude acts as a catalyst for its manifestation. Much like fertilizer and water act as a catalyst for the manifestation of the growth of a seed. It's not that the seed wouldn't or couldn't grow without the water and fertilization. It possibly could have, depending on the conditions of the soil and the condition in the environment. But if you plant that seed and fertilize and water it, your success is heightened. The dual ideas of gratitude and release are powerful ingredients for charming something. Let's just ask ourselves, why would I want to charm something? Why would I want to do that? There's nothing wrong with charming things. You can place your hands upon your car and charm it to run smoothly and safely. You can place your hands upon your clothing and charm your clothes, that every time you get dressed, you're putting on your magic gear that makes you powerful, successful, filled with happiness and joy. You could charm your home. You could charm your shoes. You can charm anything that you want to. But then ask yourself, what's the purpose of this? And remind yourself that when you're doing any kind of charming, what you're doing is building a thought form. And if you want to make that thought form manifest quickly, you do that by releasing and having gratitude that it is so. And then your visible manifestation is a very quick thing. But if you haven't released it, and it must be a certain way, it must be a certain company, it must be a certain person, it must be a certain color, it must be exactly what you said, you'll probably slow down the manifestation. If you don't understand how omnipresence works, if you don't understand that the substance you are impressing with your desire is intelligent substance, the substance of genius, and it knows more than you do. It's the same substance that makes the solar system work. It's the same substance that makes the atoms in your body work. It's the same substance that creates photosynthesis from the sunlight. That substance knows exactly what's going to be perfect for you better than your ego mind does. If you're not willing to release it and ask for this or something even better, that you're either going to slow down your progress or you might not be happy with what you get. I know if you've been alive at all in this world, you understand the disappointment of getting something you thought you really wanted. When we're working magic, we've got to be careful of that and understand that this omnipresent substance knows what will make us happy. Yes, it is up to us to impress the substance with what we want. That is our job. That's our part of it. But we also have to allow this substance to manifest in even more wonderful ways. And we can't get that that will happen unless we practice the art of release, unless we practice the art of gratitude. Those two attitudes of gratitude and release are, from my point of view, the secret sauce of charming anything. If you're trying to charm something to have an effect, you ultimately are wanting the effect to be something that's wonderful for you, to make you happy, to make your life better. So what better way to do that than through the act of gratitude and release, where you know that by the time it manifests, it's going to be better than what you could have come up with. Not saying that your surface mind is awful. It's just that it's limited and you don't know the other possibilities this omnipresent substance understands. If you're trying to charm something, do it so that it's going to bring you happiness, so that it's going to bring you joy, that it's going to bring you wealth and health and all of the things that make you happy. Some people believe if they were to harm another person who they see as being a threat or bad, that will make them happy. But it doesn't work that way. You might have a moment of satisfaction Just like you might have a moment of satisfaction when you get any kind of addiction fulfilled, but it's very fleeting. You don't get the long-lasting happiness that you were hoping for. So when you're trying to charm something, be careful of that. Be careful of trying to charm something so that somebody else loses. Somebody else gets, quote, what's coming to them or whatever. That's not going to bring you happiness. But this omnipresent substance does know how to keep you safe and to keep you happy so that person is not a threat to you. That person cannot harm you. It's okay to charm something for protection, but be very careful of this tendency to want to manipulate other people's lives, even if you think you're justified, because that's not the kind of charm you want. That's not very charming to micromanage other people, even though you think you're justified. If you're charming something, do it from the perspective of omnipresence, this omnipresent substance. You are impressing with a righteous desire of your heart and speed up its manifestation through that dual attitude of gratitude and release. Think about how wonderful it will be for you when this thing manifests in its highest possible state. How happy that makes you. I don't know how it's going to manifest. I know what I said I wanted, but I know that it's going to be better than what I came up with. How exciting is that? How excited can I be about that? Once you get through that feeling of excitement and gratitude and joy, you let it go. You let it go. And you just say, oh, I'm so excited, I just can't think about it anymore. I'm going to put it out of my mind. And when it shows up, I'll know. As far as charms go, you can charm anything. I believe in the idea of living a charmed life. And I think that when people start to live a charmed life and it seems like they are so different from everybody else, what they're really doing is noticing how it's supposed to be. We're all supposed to live like that. And so if you're living a charmed life on some level or another, even though people may not understand it, you're teaching them how they too can live a charmed life. And boy, do we need charm more than any time I can remember. We need charm more than ever now. So you have the ability to live a charmed life going through your day-to-day experiences. And it's really simple. In magic especially, there's the tendency to overcomplicate things and make everything very complicated, esoteric and academic sometimes. And that has its place. I'm not saying we shouldn't have those things. But when you're trying to charm something, you put all that away. You put all that to the side and you get right down to what it is that you want. Why are you charming your clothes? Why are you charming your shoes? Why are you charming your car? What is it that you're trying to accomplish? If you're charming your stove to make sure that all the food you make is blessed and brings not only physical nourishment, but spiritual nourishment and brings more magic into your life, what a wonderful charm. If you're charming your doorknob, that everyone who enters your home brings in only good and is blessed, and anything that is harmful can't enter, is stripped of its power. The difference between doing that and stripping a specific person of their power is that you're leaving it up to omnipresence, because omnipresence knows how to strip someone of their negative power before entering your dwelling in a way that's good for everyone. But if you, as an ego mind, say, I don't think this person's good, so I'm going to strip them of their power, bind them or whatever. You can do that. You can do a freezer spell or a binding spell. You can do that. But even when you do that, if you don't allow yourself to release into this or something even better, then you're tying yourself karmically to whatever happens because of that, even if in your mind they deserved it. It's fine to bind somebody from harming you, but if you don't release it into omnipresence with this or something even better for the highest good of all, then what you're doing is you're saying, I know best. I know best. And so therefore, I'm willing to be responsible for the outcome here. And if your spell goes awry, which oftentimes it will, when there's some sort of revenge, if you don't release it to spirit, your tendency is to bring about something that isn't good for them. And in your mind, you can justify it because they deserve it. But you're responsible for that. So you're bringing yourself down, you're bringing them down. You're not really accomplishing what you wanted to. Instead, all you needed to do was charm the situation. Charm the situation by saying, all power to harm me is now removed for the highest good of all. And I'm grateful that it is manifesting in the best way possible for me and everybody. And I can't wait to see how this works itself out. Then what you're doing is you are giving the responsibility for the outcome to this omnipresent substance. And you'll know that just like the sun rises in the morning, and just like the dead skin cells are sloughed off of your skin every day, so will this condition be perfectly handled in a way you could have never figured out on your own. Just being aware that you do have choices in how you charm something. Like we said earlier, everything is alive. And so that omnipresence is inherent in everything, whether it's a so-called inanimate object or an intelligent life form. And if I'm connecting with that omnipresence and I understand that it knows all, then I can impress my desire on this omnipresence and feel safe that it knows the best way for this to manifest for my highest good and the highest good of all. And if I get right into the gratitude of it, not only does that safeguard the operation, but it speeds up its manifestation. My recommendation for charming something is to decide what you want, and there's no wrong desire. So decide what you want, and when you're ready to charm something or charm a thought form, connect with the omnipresent substance that is everywhere, and understand that it knows exactly what will work to make what you want to come about in the highest way possible. You do your part, and that is sometimes visualizing very clearly and detailed. Then that dual attitude of release and gratitude are what makes it happen quickly and for your benefit. It's not easy sometimes for people who like sorcery to understand that they're not as smart as they think they are. It's hard to believe that you're not as smart as you think you are. I've gotten that a lot in my life where I knew exactly what I needed to do and I knew exactly what needed to happen. And I didn't want to hear about omnipresence. I didn't want to hear about for the highest good of all. I want what I want and I know best. And I got it. And rarely did it bring me the happiness that I thought it would. I don't even know if rarely is the right word. Never did it bring me the happiness I thought it would. Other than the fact that I can say, oh, look, I did it. Look how powerful I am. I did create that. I wish I hadn't. Whereas when I learned to work with the intelligence of this omnipresent substance, when working any kind of charming, I always got what I wanted in a wonderful way and quickly. It just taught me the lesson. That's the way I want to do my magic now. I don't want to always believe I know best. I'd rather learn the lesson through joy than through pain. I'm going to learn the lesson that I don't know everything one way or another, but I'd like to learn that lesson through joy rather than through the pain that comes about by me getting what I thought I wanted. When you're ready to charm something, go ahead and go for it. Make sure that you know exactly what you're doing and why you're doing it. Charm the heck out of that thing and do it through the resonance you build with that omnipresent substance. Impress everything that you want on that and make sure that when you release that you release it with love and gratitude for the highest good of all, this or something even better, according to the divine design of my life. And when you do that, the sky is the limit. The sky is the limit. It always comes back much better than anything you could have come up with on your own. Live the charmed life. Charm everything that you can think of. Take one thing a day and charm it. Charm those shoes. Charm that car. Charm those paints. Charm that paper. Charm that computer. Charm that musical instrument. Can you imagine if you charmed your guitar before you went out and started playing music for people? How much more power your music would have? How beautiful is that? You charm that guitar. You charm your voice. You charm your hands, but do it with the infinite substance, the omnipresent substance that knows all. And you do it for the highest good of all, with gratitude and then live a charmed life. As you charm more things in your life and you start living in that charmed experience, it begets more charm and you become a very charming person. People, when they are around you, feel better. They feel good. The reason why they feel better and they feel good is because your energy is charmed. You're living a charmed life. And in your presence, they start to have wonderful things happen too, without any conscious thought on your part. That invisible, omnipresent substance is so plentiful in your life. It's bringing nothing but blessing wherever you go. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today. I so appreciate you. Until next time, blessed be.